Hello my crafty peeps, it's Cheyenne from PixieCrafter.com. Excuse the voice, I'm feeling a little under the weather today, but that's not going to stop me from filming a video. Oh, today we are going to be making this little beauty. I was kind of playing around with the baby wipe technique. I still need to work on that. It's still not quite where I want it to be, but I'm going to show you a way where you can kind of get this but have a more precise result. So we'll just set that aside there. All right, let's go over what we're going to be needing. We're going to need our marbled background stamp. I'm loving all of the background stamps. My goal is to have them all because it's really wonderful. You don't need the pattern paper, you can make your own. We are also going to be using the Dragonfly Dream stamp set. Not much from it, just the Enjoy Your Special Day sentiment. Some very nice sentiments. I love the stamps in this set. So you've got this more detailed dragonfly, and the wings do stamp over, and so does this. So you can use these three pieces together, the body, the wing, and the full dragonfly all together. Or you can just use each one, so you can have a more detailed one, more like an illustrated look, or you can use these two pieces to have more of a watercolor little dragonfly effect. There's also this wonderful stamp here which gives some very nice little splotches. Picture this in like a heat embossed metallic on paper. One of the suites has a lot of that going on. They're like softer colors, like Pink Pirouette and Soft Sky, and they have like a little gold, polka dot, but it's not an even polka dot. So that's really nice. And then you have this bee here, and you can do, one stamp and then stamp on the other, or you can do each individual. So it's up to you how you want to use them. So that's nice. There is a coordinating die set, which is the detailed dragonfly die. So this guy here will cut out your dragonflies. I will say, if you're using it to cut out these ones, your like watercolor one, make sure you're getting the placement right. Otherwise, it's going to get a little wonky when you're trying to line up the wings and the body and cut it all out. And then you have this one here, which it coordinates with this one. So like all of these are like the same size, all of those dragonflies. You can use them kind of interchangeably. It's also fun to use this to cut out a piece of foil or glimmer paper and then cut this out with a solid color of cardstock, black, white, depending on what you're cutting out. And then you've got your coordinating bee here, and it does match with these guys here, so keep that in mind. You've got this big dragonfly here. I call him George. I don't know why, I just do. And this is a fun little accent, especially on scrapbook pages, because it does have some bulk to it. It's not just a little die cut. And then you have these here, and these are in a line, so this is great on a border. I just showed you how to do an ombre 12 by 12 scrapbook page, and imagine this going up the side. So you have that ombre going down, and then have this in a solid colored cardstock, like just a couple of them lined up going down the page. I really think that would be a nice graphic touch. I love having like some soft but pigmented color, and then having a stark, more graphic element to it. So, all right, we're going to have to use this little guy here today. Oh, all right, let's see, what else do we have for our ink colors? We've got Bermuda Bay, Tempting Turquoise, and Melon Mambo. These are all from the Brights collection. You can get these individually, or you can get the entire Brights collection ink pads, your choice. And I also pulled out Archival Basic Black. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that yet. We'll have to see how it goes. Our basic rhinestones. Now these are from the old configuration. In the new catalog they're configured a little differently. You're not having these whole strips of them. So, but rhinestones are rhinestones. Bling is bling, baby. So I'm going to use them. I'm also going to be using some basic black baker's twine. I love this. I feel it's good for everything. Again, I like having like a graphic, like black and white element to it. We're also going to be using our triple banner punch. You don't have to use this. You can hand banner our little tab, but that's up to you. Because we are going to be using a very delicate, precise die, we're going to need our Big Shot, our precision base plate, a cutting plate. You can put it on the regular base plate and thin die adapter that comes with your Big Shot. I have mine on the magnetic platform just because they really stick together quite well, and it's one less thing to worry about. And then also for cutting out all of those detailed little shapes, the die brush is fantastic, and I just keep, it comes with, you're going to get 2 pads and your die brush. It comes like this. I keep mine in the bottom of a paper pumpkin box just because I feel it's perfect. All of my little, you know, cut bits are in there, and they're safe, they're out of the way. For our paper, we are using Whisper White thick cardstock. I cut it at 4 1/4 by 11, scored it at 5 1/2. Let's go ahead and actually use our bone folder to get this all creased up. Now with the thick cardstock, you are going to want to score it first, otherwise it's just not going to fold quite right. I've got a piece of basic black, and this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got a piece of Whisper White. This is 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. I've got a 3 3/4 by, it's about 3/4. It was a scrap piece of Whisper White. I just wanted it to, you know, be big enough for my sentiment and to fit across the width of this card. And then you're going to need a piece of basic black to cut out your dragonfly. So whatever piece is going to be big enough for that. Look in your scraps. Use your scraps. It's okay. All right, we're also going to need sponge dabba. And I'm going to get a baby wipe too, because I don't want to have to get 3 sponge daubers for all of our ink colors. So we're going to kind of clean off our dauber in between each color. So let's do a faux baby wipe technique. Let's get out, well, let me protect my surface here with my silicone craft sheets. That is always a good first step, and we're going to take that piece of Whisper White that's 4 3/4 by 3 3/4, and we've got our marble background stamp. Now what we're going to do with this is we're just going to take and dab our ink colors onto our background stamp. Super easy, you know, nothing too crazy about it, you know, just dab, dab, dab. I'm going to go ahead and speed up this process because otherwise it's going to take me a little bit of time to do. Okay, I've got my Melon Mambo on there, and I did kind of diffuse out the lines a little bit because I do want these to blend in together, and I'm just using my baby wipe to get a lot of that extra ink off of it. There we go, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab my Tempting Turquoise. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to overlap the colors a little bit because I do want them to blend together a bit more. Alright, so now that I've got all my colors on there and I'm happy with it, I'm going to kind of breathe on this a little bit just to reactivate some of the ink. And then I'm going to take and put my Whisper White piece over it, put a scrap piece of grid paper, and like really press it in. you ready for this? Voila, c'est magique. Alright, I'm happier with doing it this way than anything I've done with the baby wipe technique. Like, I like it. I know, I like the looks of it, but it's not predictable enough for me. And, you know, I don't like to waste my paper and stuff, so I want to make sure that I'm getting something good each time. Like, this is enough of a variable for me to feel safe. Like, I want to be a little budget friendly, you know? So, alright, just went ahead and cleaned off my background stamp, and I'm setting that aside. I'm making quite the mess. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put it away now while I'm thinking about it. Okay, so that's our background piece. It's all done. We're not going to do too much more to it. So I'm going to set this aside as well. And now it's time to do some die cutting. Now let's bring in our machine, our Big Shot. Now, you've heard me say, I'm going to say it again, I love my Big Shot. I think it is totally worth the investment. I grab it an awful lot. If you're doing card making and scrapbooking, it really comes in handy. Alright, so I've got all of my sandwich together, my magnetic platform, my precision base plate, my cardstock, and my little butterfly, and now I'm just going to put on a top plate, and this is one of my grubby top plates. I like to be budget conscious, so I don't throw anything away until it absolutely has to be thrown away. Now on these detailed dies, I do like to go back and forth a few times. I feel that this really helps it. So far I've noticed the dragonflies don't really need it, but I would rather be safe than sorry. So here we've got, there we go, everything's popped out, and you can see the cardstock's kind of stuck in there. That's where the die brush comes in handy, because it's going to knock out all those little pieces, and it's going to help to pop it out from the die without damaging the paper, without ripping the paper. There are some, you know, other ways, tricks and techniques that you can use, like, you know, using wax paper. So if you put a layer of wax paper over your cardstock before you place down the die, that helps it to pop out as well. I do feel like you have to run it back and forth a few more times just because you've got that extra little layer, and it does help. So if you've got a die that you keep ripping up when you go to take the paper out, then go ahead and use that wax paper. Use what you got. And I kind of feel like a wax paper is a good thing to have in your craft space anyway. It comes in handy if you're doing a lot of stickers, then you can lay the stickers on the wax paper before you actually place anything down. Oh, alright, there is our dragonfly. So cute, and that was so easy to get out, and all the pieces are poked out, et voila. And I'm going to take my clear Wink of Stella now. I forgot to mention that we were going to need this. And I'm just going to brush over with whatever's on the brush. I usually don't squeeze the Wink of Stella pen too much, because I usually just like that little hint of shimmer. Like, I think it does well enough just all on its own, just like that. So that is all we are going to do. There we go. So dragonfly is all glittered up, and now it's time to start putting these things together a little bit. Let's get our sentiment and try to decide what we want. Oh, you know what else I like to do? I like to take my Tim Holtz distressor and distress the edges, especially on simple cards like this. Just giving it that little extra texture to it really helps to make it not just look like I put a couple sheets of paper, glued them on top of each other. It really helps on the simple cards, because with the simple cards, it's all the little details that you add to it that really help it out a little bit, and not look, how do I put this, kind of grade school. So alright, we've got that, and I know it's going to go on here. So let's go ahead and use our snail adhesive and get this down on there. Just like so. There we go. I love how these colors turn out and all the different like purple shades that come into it as well. Like, it's really nice. It's lovely. It's quite lovely. And now I want to decide what color to do my sentiment. So I actually think that I'm going to do a special technique where it kind of ombres into it. So let me get my Melon Mambo and my Tempting Turquoise. Now this is a really fun technique to do. So half of my stamp I'm going to ink with the Tempting Turquoise, and the other half I'm going to use my Melon Mambo. And I'm going to kind of make sure that they overlap just a little bit. And now I'm going to stamp it down. There we go. Alright, we've got just a nice soft little gradation. It's nothing too big because I don't want to contaminate my ink pads, but it's something fun. If you have the Stampin' Right markers, you can also use it with that, but I mean, this was easy too, so why bring out another product if you don't have to? I bring out enough as it is. Alright, now I want to take my banner punch, and I just want to get this through. This is smaller than the banner punch, but that's okay. I just kind of eyeball it and line it up. It's really no different than if I was going to actually banner it with my scissors, and I'm just trying to make sure that that's going to be even. It's horrible to have a wonky banner, isn't it? Alright, that looks good to me. And there we go, just like that, bannered. You know, if you're going to spend the money to invest in the tools, if you have the tool, use it. It's okay. You can do it. Alright, so that's going to go right over there. Perfecto. And I'm going to go ahead and distress the edges of this too, just to give it a little something. Like, we've got that nice ombre stamping happening. I don't know, that ombre stamping, that nice gradiated, that blended stamping in there. So let's really make it pop and stand out and not have this banner kind of fade into nothingness. And now we've got our biggest twine. And I am wanting to just kind of get my regular old tape. Nothing special here. And we're going to pop it down and we're going to wrap it around just a few times. I'm going to skip over a little bit because I want to make sure to get some down here. So it looks like there's a reason why there's a gap there. Is there a reason? Yes, I initially cut the paper wrong and I decided to just go with it because that's life sometimes. You make mistakes, you can either start over or you can work with the mistake and make it seem like it's on purpose. Alright, so we've got that done now. Perfect. Alright, now we're going to bring out our mini Stampin' Dimensionals as soon as I can. And here they are. Alright, if you haven't tried our mini dimensionals yet, like, what are you waiting for? So here is, here, let me do it this way. Show you more of a side by side. Alright, so these are our original Stampin' Dimensionals and these are the minis. These minis are perfect for putting on a lot of the punches, the dies and stuff like that. Whenever you need something just a little bit smaller. And they are perfect for using with the Detailed Dragonfly dies because they fit on and voila, it's done. It's wonderful. Now I'm just going to pop this right on here. I toyed with the idea of adding a doily or something, kind of like with this one, but I thought, no, I want that marble background to speak for itself. Alright, now I want my regular dimensionals for this sign. here, our little sentiment. We're going to go ahead and get that on. I'm going to go right about there. There we go. Let the background do the talking for you. And now we're going to just go ahead and adhere this onto our card. And then we will have a nice, fun little card that you can send to your friends, family, loved ones, anyone who is having a special day, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, whatever. If it's special, this card applies. I'm in rare form today, aren't I? Must be the day quill. Okay, so let me zoom you in. There we go. Come closer, closer. All right, so here is today's finished card. You can see that little bit of shimmer from our Wink of Stella. Love that. Wonderful little background. You can customize it to whatever colors you need. That's a beautiful thing about making your own cards. You can make it what you want it to be. Oh, all right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please remember to like and subscribe. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye. Want to see more? Here's some videos that might interest you. And check out my website and blog for a full list of the products I used, as well as more project ideas and inspiration. You can also shop my Stampin' Up! Online store, my Etsy shop, or contact me about booking and planning a Disney vacation from PIXIECrafter.com.